April 13th, 2022, here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is so hot in my studio. There it is. It would help if I turn the air conditioning on. But Major League Baseball, NBA play-in games. Boy, I thought that I had the Clippers money line last night. I lost that thing. I loved Cleveland in the points. I did not give it out as a premium pick. And, it was just one of those days. I got to say, Major League Baseball, it's ridiculous. I mean, once again, it's like, here we are. We're not even a week into the season. What are these guys doing? What are these umpires doing? I mean, what game are you watching? What game are you watching? What exactly? In that Marlins-Angels game, in the Marlins-Angels game, explain to me how this guy's not out. Explain it to me. I want to hear a concrete explanation. I want to hear a concrete explanation as to how he's not out. I want to know. I don't just want to hear, after further review, the call in the field stands or whatever. I want to hear a concrete explanation that his hand or foot or he was in constant contact with the bag when he was touched because he was clearly off the base. I don't understand it. And that was the game. The game was decided on that.
Oh, it was awful.
It was awful.
Absolutely awful.
It was awful. I had the Marlins. I'm just disgusted, obviously. If I had the Angels, I'd be talking about how the game is perfect.
Thank God.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I was listening to it in the dog park, with Sam and watching it.
Yeah.
So I was watching the Angels broadcast. They couldn't believe it, the announcers. They're like, of course we're happy, but I can't believe it. They're like, how is he safe? It's like, how is that even possible? It's like, sometimes I understand it's a bang play. You stick with the call on the field, right? And that's the whole idea behind it. In football, it's the same way. If it's a bang play and, it's the replay can't see it, you stick with the call on the field. But the guy is off the base and the glove is on the guy. It's like, there's no, and they were saying, they're like, he's clearly going to be out. This is going to change. It's going to be too out. And then it's like, they come back and it's like, what? It's like, did they hear it wrong from New York or something? I think we need a clear explanation as to how this guy is not out.
Yeah. I don't know, Mitch. It's just unbelievable. It really is.
So the Twins and the Dodgers, right? Normally on 3-2 counts, if the ball is reasonably close to the plate, they give it to the pitcher, and because they want the batter to swing, not just stand there. They gave everyone to the Dodgers in that game. Same thing, tie game 1-1. They gave them every single one of those. They walked like the Dodgers. It was a 1-1 game. They had, I think, 5 walks in one inning, in the Twins, and they were all borderline. The fourth ball was borderline on every single one of them. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I think like that one I can live with because the final score was the final score. Even though at that point, all of the runs were scored in the one inning with all the walks.
Yep. The eighth inning, yeah.
Yeah, all of them were scored in that inning, and it was all walks.
Man,
it was terrible, and they were all like borderline pitches right on the line. You can't throw the ball over the middle of the plate. So finally, they throw the ball over the middle of the plate because they're not getting any calls at all, and then Turner gets the hit. It's like, he did get a hit, right? Whatever. Yeah, because they had no choice. It's like, what was the official position? What was the position of the official sports book of the Minnesota Twins, or of the Los Angeles Dodgers? That's what I want to know. It's like ridiculous. It was, I don't know.
Do you think this is something we're ever going to know? The official,
yes.
Yes?
Oh, yes.
I think they're going to have to come clear with this at some point?
Well, they do. They will. Some books will show what the position is, but they don't show what their position is.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the dollars and cents of it all.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely things are looking fishy. I wouldn't doubt within the next couple of years we get a big scandal with a ref or something that's been
We've had
doing
them.
something.
We've had them in the NBA, and we've had them, with players in college sports. We've had it in players in pro sports as well. It's it's definitely prevalent. It's definitely something in the game, but that was just like that Angels Marlins game. That was just ridiculous. So FanDuel now has the percentage of money on the games, but they don't have their actual dollar position because some games are more heavily bet than others.
Yeah.
Some markets are more heavily bet than others. So they
What do you
don't.
think the heavily bet market is, Mitch?
The most heavily bet market
Yeah.
is what it used to be Los Angeles.
Okay.
It used to be the Los Angeles market because the proximity to Vegas. Now I think the New York market has always been a big bet market too. It's always these big public teams: Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Notre Dame, Dallas Cowboys. These are the teams. And whoever won the Super Bowl.
America's team, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's all I think of every time you hear the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Exactly. The Braves were America's team in baseball for a long time. They were the first team on cable.
Okay. I think I remember you telling me that before.
Yep. Ted Turner, when he bought the Braves, he created TBS, which was one of the first cable networks, the Superstation. And it was so the Braves were the first team that all of their games were on TV and accessible to the public. And the Cubs were second, WGN.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty cool to know.
Yeah, he called them America's team because America could watch all of their games. And he tried to get them into genius, genius.
It is, for sure.
Genius.
Kind of branding, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Blue Jays, Canadians team.
Well,
it's our only team. Just like I call my brother my best brother. He's like, I'm your only one.
Let's take a quick look here at NBA. We've got 2 games tonight. Last night, I had the Clippers in that game, and it was a tough way to lose. Up by 10, Karl Anthony Towns fouls out of the game.
Ooh, hurt.
And I thought for sure I was good. And, Patrick Beverley and company, Edwards, they played outstanding down the stretch, and the Timberwolves got the win. I think you got to give it to them. They played well, and they got it done.
Yeah.
So, hats off to them.
Yeah, it did hurt.
And we'll see the Clippers on Friday night against the winner of tonight's game. So we've got the Spurs taking on the Pelicans in this one. Joe, any thoughts?
Spurs and Pelicans. This is going to be a good game. I'm thinking we still stay under this number. I've got a premium on the side, but this total we've seen drop. And I still like it under. I really do think we're going to see a really cautious game out of both of these teams. And they've trended so solid to that under. I think it's a tight one here, Mitch. I got to go with the under in this one.
Yesterday, the betting tools had the Clippers in the first half and the first quarter. They came through that first quarter, nailing it and plus money. Today they have the Spurs in the first half plus 143.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Spurs in the first half money line in this game, and I think they're the better coach team. And it's just there's no argument against. You can't argue against that. It's like that's a statement I can make that anybody out there, you can have whatever comment you want. You're not going to win that argument against me that they're not the better coach team. And for game 2, we've got the Hawks and the Hornets. Of course, it's actually game 1 in chronological order with a 7:00 Eastern time start. I don't know if the Clippers blew it as much as the Wolves took it. I think that they took it. I had the Clippers, and I'm not disappointed in the way that they lost. I think I'm disappointed that they lost, but I'm not disappointed in the way that they lost. I thought that when the Timberwolves needed to hit shots down the stretch, when they needed to make plays down the stretch, they did, and there's nothing you can do about that. I thought we saw Anthony Edwards look every bit like the first overall draft choice in his class. For the first time, really. That was the best I've ever seen him play. And he saved it for when they needed him most. So I got to give it to him, Yeah. I think sometimes when you lose, like that Angels-Marlins game, you kind of just like super bitter about it. But other times like that, when you just got to just take your hat off and say, you know what? They beat me. And I think I
Yeah,
can say
exactly. There's no one to blame in that one.
I could say that about the Atlanta Hawks in that game, or not the Atlanta Hawks, the
Timberwolves.
yeah, the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Similar teams.
Yeah. Yeah, very similar. Yesterday it hurt me definitely. I was on the Nets to cover, looked so good at halftime. They just weren't able to get it done. And then the Clippers plus the points. So disappointing one there, but looking to get it back today. And I'm looking at this total between the Hornets and the Hawks. And I think this total has gone too low. I wish I had hit it under at 239 and then could get the in between now hitting the over and get it both ways, because I think this hits right in the middle of what this originally came out with. So I'm going to take the over right now. What the line is, 235.5. I think we're going to see a great night out of Trae Young. And yeah, I think they just hit right in between this number, Mitch.
Yeah, I like the over in this one. You got two teams that, I know the Hawks play decent defense, but the Hornets play no defense whatsoever, and both these teams can really score. So I could see a track meet style game in this one.
Yeah, I was looking at Trae Young's 3-pointers, and you can get him over 3.5 points or over 3.5 3-pointers at -132. I think that is a definitely good way to take it. You can also take him over 31.5 points for the game. I know he's averaging that 28.4. We saw him limited the last time he faced the Hornets, limited game time. And then the time before he hit right on 30. I think this game's too important. I think he gets over that 31.5. So I'm going to prop bet both of those for him.
All right. We move over to Major League Baseball, where, like I said, it was a puddle of disappointment as far as for me. In any game that had any kind of controversy whatsoever, I was on the wrong side of the controversy. But that's baseball. You move on. They were the underdogs, so it's only -100. It's not like I lost big juice or anything, but still a little bitter about it. Turned a winning day into a losing day. I only had
that's tough.
3 picks. So we live to fight another day and brush the dirt off and move on. Got the Nationals and the Braves. Josiah Gray, pitching out of that number 1 spot for the Nationals, gets the tough assignments, and it's up against Max Fried here in Atlanta. Got the Pirates against the Cubs, game 2 of that series, where the Cubs have now beaten the Pirates 10 in a row. Starting to get a little ugly over there. Got the Reds and the Indians. Tristan McKenzie came in relief. We saw McKenzie come in relief in Kansas City, and he gave up the winning run. He's one of my guys. So, I know he's got the super high ceiling and all that stuff, but last year it was the second half of the season where he came on, so I don't know where I'm at with him, but he's still one of my guys. I don't care if he gave up that run.
Okay,
Joe,
I'm glad you like him.
Any of these 3? Well, he's one of my guys. It's like I have my guys, and then I have my guys that are not my guys, right? And
I know. I can't wait till we get to the Blue Jays game, because you got 2 guys that I'm pretty sure you don't like there.
Yeah, but it's like, but Tristan McKenzie is one of my guys.
Okay.
He's one of my guys.
Okay, well, I have to go with Cleveland here and Tristan McKenzie. I think they do have a good game. And we've seen the Reds. They have struggled in their last 8 games in the second game of a series. And I think what we'll see out of him, Tristan McKenzie, is a good game tonight. So give me Cleveland. And then I'm looking at taking the Braves with Max Fried. But I just don't know about that run line. I was going to look at first 5 innings maybe to see if we could get better value there. Gray, his ERA last season was way too high. He had limited starts. He only had 12 starts last season, but he had a 5.43 ERA. I think the Braves can get up on them in that first. So if there's value on that first 5, that's the one way I was going to take it. I could see the over in the first 5 as well as the Braves, dominate in that first 5 and get some nice runs in there. And then, Give me the under between the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think we have a lower scoring one here. Zach Thompson is expected for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He had a 3.24 ERA last season, and they play really strong against right-handed pitchers, and we have the Chicago Cubs starting Kyle Hendricks. So I think Pittsburgh will have a decent game in this one. I don't think they win it, but I think we stay under this total of 8.5.
Yeah, I strongly disagree on the Braves-Nationals game. I think at worst you take the Nationals on the run line here. You still can get plus money on that. Max Fried is a notoriously slow starter to the season. Last year, over the first half of the season, pre-All-Star break, if you look back, I don't think he won more than 1 or 2 games. Got absolutely crushed, and then he ended up having a winning record for the season, which just tells you how good the second half of the season was. In fact, I remember talking with the guys on the show about Max Fried's 5.6 ERA that he had at that point, saying, wow, Max Fried's the number one starter. He's got a 5.6 ERA. And we're like at the All-Star break. It wasn't like a couple games in. So he's a second half guy. So he's definitely susceptible to being hit. And we saw that in the first game of the season against the Reds. And that was opening day. Josiah Gray, I think, is a guy that Joe mentioned a lot of his numbers from last year, but I think we can discount most of those, because he's a guy that just came up last year, and he's another one of my guys. He's got a super high ceiling, right? When you trade Trey Turner and Max Scherzer for a guy, he's more than like, and you're an organization like the Washington Nationals who scouted Steven Strasburg and Soto and Rendon and, all of these superstars of superstars.
Just a couple of them.
Yeah, just a few. And that's just, a handful of the guys that they brought up through the system. You got to believe that they knew what they were doing when they got this guy. I mean, obviously, Scherzer had to go. They weren't going anywhere, and he made a ton of money. Trey Turner, I mean, you had to make a decision on him, but most people thought the decision was going to be to keep him. But this is what they wanted in return, was this guy. So we have to believe that at some point we're going to see why he's number one in the rotation, even though he only has 12 career starts. It's like something has to give here. It's like,
yeah.
So when we see Gray's 5.31 from last season that Joe pointed out for us, which it very much was the case. When we look at his outings later in the season, right? So when you look at his last 3 outings, when he finally started to turn the corner, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. So we started to see it, that high ceiling. He had not gotten a win. His first career win, was in August. It was like, his first career win was September 22nd. He had all of those starts. Wow. He ended up 2-2 on the season, getting a lot of no decisions in those games. And his first career win wasn't until September 22nd. It was like, wow, you traded Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, and this guy can't even win a game. And then finally he cracked the seal. So I'm a bigger believer here in Josiah Gray. And I'm gonna ride this horse. I like Max Fried. When we look at his performances from last season, and like I said, I'm not just gonna woof numbers at you. That's not my thing, right? To just say something like a blanket statement. I leave that for other handicappers when they state their records about their picks. They do it in the most convenient way for them. I'm 42-10. Yeah, they were all minus 600 favorites, so you're still lost money, right? But anyways, I leave that for those guys. And when we look at Max Fried, like I said, we go back to last April, and this guy was just getting dog chowed on a regular basis, Gave up.
So is that a trend we've seen season in and out?
Well, we saw it this year already in his first start. So
yeah, he did have a hard first start.
Second outing last year, ironically against the same team, the Washington Nationals. His second game of last season. 2 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, or 3 walks, 1 strikeout, and a bomb. 49 pitches. That's all he made it. Next time out, 4 innings, 9.
Only 49 pitches, yeah.
Next time out, 4 innings, 9 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned. See the theme here? He's a lousy first half pitcher. Once in a while, he does have some decent outings in here. Here's one against the Nationals. 5 innings, 4 hits, and a run. So he's erratic the first half of the season. But then once he turns the corner, then it's like he's a win machine. So that last year, it didn't happen until June 18th is when is when the chart turns. And ironically, that's when he goes from minus 200 to only minus 140s, minus 104, minus 111. He pitched against DeGrom, he lost. He pitched against Zach Wheeler, he lost. So I don't know. I'm less of a believer in Max Fried today. Talk to me in July, and I'll be all over the Max Fried train.
Well, I'm glad I don't have a premium on this then, Mitch. I would have been sitting here with a nice.
I might be wrong. Tristan McKenzie, like I said, gave up that hit, and the Reds probably going to be a little salty after yesterday, that tight game. But I think, I read a comment on YouTube, on our YouTube videos about Bell, the manager of the Reds. I agree 100% with it. It's like he's like dead set on getting his starter out of there by like the 5th or 6th inning, and then he puts in these relievers, and one of those relievers just always gets cracked around. And that's why the Reds haven't been a viable product. And it's the truth.
Why do you think they're doing it that way?
Because he sucks. He's a terrible manager. I don't.
Yeah, what is his mindset, right? Like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's like dead set in his ways. It's like that's the problem with these old school baseball guys. It's like they're dead set in their ways. Well, it's like it's gonna be. Like...
I like the impression, Mitch.
Yeah, that's how they are. It's like, that's my Forrest Gregg impression. From like when he went for one in the SEC championship game, down by they score the touchdown, they're down by 10, so they can, if they go for the 2-point conversion and make it, then they're only down by 8, so they need a touchdown 2 to tie it, but he kicks the extra point, so they're only down by, so now they're down by 9 and they need 2 scores instead of 1. And they ask him after the game why he made the decision. I made that decision because it was my decision to make. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, man, I'm going to try that on my kids next time they ask me why I did something.
What was his name? It wasn't Forrest Gregg. It was the guy, Gene Stallings. Gene Stallings, yes. I made that decision because it was my decision to make. It's like, you're an idiot. It's like when they asked Bobby Bowden, it's like, you don't coach that much, how he's like, well, I don't really actually coach that much anymore when his last 10 years or so at Florida State. I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't coach that much? He's like, well, I've got great assistant coaches. And he's like, I just kind of coordinate what they do. He's like, I'm kind of, he's like, normally at my age, you would have retired already. He's like, so I just have great assistant coaches. I manage. He's like, well, what exactly do you do? He's like, well, when it's 4th down and like 8, I say punt.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, he goes, in 4th and 8, I say punt. He's like, I'm that guy.
Oh, man, that's wicked. I like it.
Yeah, it was. Five Baum was a real character, and I know like he was our rival coach, but man, I mean, what a character to have. It was just like, it's like, what are they gonna say, about you after you're dead? It's like. And your 2 national championships. He's like, they say he would have had 10, but he played Miami. It's like they're gonna put on my tombstone.
Oh, that's funny. Would have had 10, but played Miami. That's awesome.
Well, all those games. I mean, all those 1-pointers that he lost, all those missed extra points, all those missed field goals, all those wide right four missed field goals to lose to Miami, and.
Ouch.
Yeah, 4 missed field goals. And not like, we're not talking like, 65-yarder or something. We're talking, 35-yard chip shots. 4 of them. Yeah. 3 wide rights and a wide left.
Ooh.
Yeah. The best one was the one he thought he made it. Anyways, we got
You gotta feel for the kicker then, though. When they're jumping up and down, everyone's like, dude, you didn't get it.
If, like, there's Miami forums out there, and I used to be pretty active in them. And we used to always do the montage of the Florida State kickers after they missed, like,
That's epic.
It's like, where were you when Jerry Thomas missed that field goal in Tallahassee? It's like, I was in Tallahassee. It's awesome.
Oh, I bet it was.
It's one of the best games ever.
Yeah. Do you have like a ritual when the opposite team is going for that field goal? Anything you do?
Well, now I used to have different. I've had different rituals throughout the years, but now I still sing the Bun Bun song.
That's awesome. I forgot about the Bun Bun song.
Yes,
it's been a while since football.
Yeah, well, I've been singing the Bun Bun song for baseball as well. Like when I need the out to end the game, or whatever. I still sing the Bun Bun song. Anyways, got Phillies and the Mets. Aaron Nola against Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer making his second start as a member of the Mets.
Okay, good to know. Bum Bum song gets used year round.
Got the Twins and the Dodgers, the rematch. Clayton Kershaw on the mound here for the Dodgers. I think he's hanging on too long. Maybe he has a good outing, whatever. I think he's a guy that could have retired. And we got the Tigers and the Red Sox. Interesting one here because Rodriguez used to be on the Red Sox. Now he's on the Tigers. And then you have Eovaldi, who pitched fairly well in that first game against the Yankees. Joe, any thoughts on these three games?
My internet is breaking up, Mitch. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. That is awesome. I'm looking at this game between the New York Mets and Philadelphia, and I think the Phillies have this one, Mitch. I think they're going to have a great game here. They do great against right-handed pitchers. The Mets have struggled notoriously against the Phillies, and I know Max Schneider is a good pitcher, but I think we've seen him struggle before against the Phillies as well. I think we got a lower scoring one in this, so I'm going to ride the under 8.5. I do like what both these pitchers bring to the table, so give me the under and the Phillies in that one. Kind of torn with the Dodgers and Minnesota. I think Minnesota should be able to get the win after what we saw last night. I do think the Twins, they shouldn't have lost that game. And I think Minnesota comes out strong in this one and is able to get it done. And we're getting plus money with them at plus 155. What do you think of the pitchers in this one, Mitch?
In which one?
In the Dodgers and the Twins game.
Well, I think Kershaw should have retired, and I think Chris Paddock is straight garbage. I can't bet on him, not one nickel of my hard-earned money. He's so bad. And I think this one's an over all the way. I just think that Kershaw should have retired. I think we're going to see glimpses of the old Kershaw, from time to time over the course of the season. But I think that his better days are definitely behind him. I think it's not a matter of him not being able to be one of those guys that pitches into his 40s in the major leagues. I just think that he's been injured too many times to be able to do that, and we've seen him have injury problems. And he's the type of guy, because he's such a bulldog, that it's like it's going to be very, very tough to get him out of the game before the damage is done. And I think that's been kind of the thing on Kershaw, is when he has struggled and when he has been injured over the years, is that they can't get him out of the game before the damage is done, because number one, he won't come out, and number two, he's Clayton Kershaw. So it's like you have the double issue there on that one. I strongly disagree with you on the Phillies and the Mets. Max Scherzer is one of the greatest pitchers in the history of baseball, while Aaron Nola is a guy that's never really hit the bar, as far as I'm concerned. He's had a couple of years back, he had a decent season, and then and we got him back then at decent prices. But ever since then, he's been an overblown guy that really has never achieved anything. Max Scherzer is the only pitcher to ever win Cy Young Awards in the National and American League, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got more in his bag of tricks than every other pitcher on the entire card today. This guy has accomplished more and probably has won more games than every other pitcher, except for Kershaw. You take Kershaw out of the equation, and he has more wins than every other pitcher on the card combined. I don't know. I don't think the Phillies are, I see a comment here. The Phillies love to hit the fastball. Yeah, not against Scherzer, they don't. Nobody likes to face Max Scherzer. He is one of the best pitchers in the history of the game. And I will take him any day at this short price. I think, even more so. I don't, they're, Brian will be like, they're begging you to take Scherzer. They're begging you. You don't need to beg all that hard, It's like, this is the Phillies, okay? The straight ass, right? I mean, they've been straight ass for years. Horrible. The teams that are really bad and that continue to be bad and are the teams that have bad managers and bad financial distribution among their roster. And that's what the Phillies have. When you pay a guy like Bryce Harper that much money, the expectation is now high. The odds are crappy. And, what you have is just a sad sack of crap. And it's like, and that's what the Phillies have been. They've been a fade machine. We've made a ton. Of course you agree with Joe.
Good morning, Brian.
Yep. I make more money fading Bitler's picks in baseball. I mean, he will ride these lousy teams. It's like, and then he'll finally win one. I knew the Pirates were going to win. Yeah, but the problem is they're 40 and 128, and 122, and you didn't get plus 600 on them. It's like you can bet the losing teams and make money. We've been down this road, but it's like just because you want to be unpopular, with your picks. I understand that, The Phillies are terrible. A terrible organization from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Horrible organization. Last year, they were favored to win the National League East. What place did they finish? They've been a mountain of disappointment. They have been horrible. Horrible. Let's take a look at the Phillies last season. What would you rather bet on? The pile of dog crap in the neighbor's yard or the Phillies? I'll take the pile of dog crap. It's like they're the worst.
You can't bet on the pile of dog crap.
I'll figure out a way. The Phillies finished 82 and 80 last year, 6.5 back. 11-run differential. They lost their last 2 games of the season. So they had a chance at the wild card. I remember the Phillies had a chance at the wild card. They didn't make it. They came up short. The Mets are going to crush Nola. Pete Alonso, home run prop. Thank me later.
How much is that paying out?
I don't know.
You said the thank me later. I love it.
I did.
So clipping that. What time did that happen at?
Thank me later.
Right at the 32-minute mark. Thank me later.
Anyways, yeah, we'll agree to disagree on that game.
We will.
Anyways, we'll go to the Astros and the Diamondbacks, the Giants and the Padres, and the Rays and the A's. Oh, the A's almost got it done for me yesterday. So close. And Aller, my guy, first batter, gives up a blast of a home run, gets into trouble with the next, gets out of it. And, that game goes to extra innings. The A's score in extra innings, and then the Rays score 2 in the bottom half of the frame, and they win. But it was a good game. And once again, if you took the run line there, the plus runs, you made money. So, anyways, what do you think of these three?
Man, I'm a little worried for the San Francisco Giants with Logan Webb starting here. We know he has struggled against the Padres, but I can't see the Padres getting this win here. I do think San Francisco pulls it out. Just looking at the value we're getting at minus 135, I think we have to take it with Logan Webb. I think he's a stronger pitcher up for the day, and I might look at them the first 5, the San Francisco Giants. So give me them there, and then I got to take the Astros, but I'm not loving what we're paying there. I don't want to take them on the run line. So that would be something I might throw into a parlay with the Astros. I think they play strong against Arizona, and I think they get a nice road win here. But I'm not seeing who the pitcher is up for the Astros. Mitch, I was just trying to find that. Are you seeing who's
I thought it was Framber Valdez.
Framber Valdez?
So I had.
Okay.
But I still can't get over you taking Aaron Nola to be Max Scherzer. It's like, what?
We can discuss it tomorrow.
I guess so.
I'm pretty sure you'll be laughing all the way to the bank with that one. You feel so strongly about it, but
Well, if Brian likes
I
the
don't
other
know.
side. I
I
really
can
feel
see.
good about it. I'm actually going to go reverse run line on that one. See what we can get, because you're actually getting Scherzer as a dog, something that you rarely see. So we can get, if we go, so at plus 1.5, if we go to the minus 1.5, we get plus 196 on Scherzer. No, at the minus 1.5, we only get plus 141 on Scherzer. So it's like the books aren't convinced either here. They're not leaving any kind of exposure. If you go to 2.5, it's plus 207. But I think the safe place to be here, I always like the safe bet. And I think you go to the minus 3.5 at plus 294 with Max Scherzer here against Nola. I think you could go to the 4.5 at plus 421. There's a huge jump. See there from when you go from the from 2.5 to 3.5. There's a significant jump, but when you go from 3.5 to 4.5, there's a really significant jump. So I think in that 3 range, 2.5, 3 range is where you want to be. 2.5 is plus 207, minus 3 is 265, and then 3.5 is 294. I mean, because Aaron Nola's straight crap, right? So we know we got this one. So we just have to figure out just how much of pigs do we want to be.
What are you going with, Mitch?
I'll take the 2-1 on my money at the minus 207, and this way I don't have to sweat it out. I'll be good by the first inning. All right.
Okay, was there anything else you liked in this section, Mitch?
I do like Scherzer a lot, though. You guys did talk me into it. I like I don't know. I don't love this slot, to be honest with you. We already did NBA. You're late.
I was just typing yes at the start, so now you've answered that question. There we go. Well, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the next section, the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. What are your thoughts on both these pitchers up here?
We got the Blue Jays and the Yankees, the Orioles and the Brewers, the White Sox and the Mariners, and the Cardinals and the Royals. So we got 4 games in that slot. But I think, Garrett Cole, anytime you get a chance to fade him, you do it. And I will continue to fade him every single time he pitches.
Are you going to ride with my Blue Jays?
I'm going to have to, even with Barrios on the mound. I think he hangs in there, maybe learned a little lesson from last time out. He's not as bad as we saw him last time, and, but he's not good. But it's not nearly as bad as the last time we saw him. And Garrett Cole, it's like putting him out at minus 170, a guy who's normally minus 220, 250 guy. They're just begging for Yankee money. They're out there on the street corner with buckets, begging for change. They could borrow my guitar because it ain't going to work. I'm going to take the Jays there for sure. And I also like John Means against Corbin Burns in Baltimore. John Means so underrated. So underrated. I like Burns a lot, but the money's there.
I think Means is a better pitcher there.
Yep.
Great 2+ money picks in there, Mitch. Both are around plus 150.
I also love the White Sox.
I like it. I like both.
Love them. Dallas Keuchel.
Keuchel, left-handed pitcher there, hey? Robbie Ray, left-hander out as well. Yeah, I could get behind the Chicago White Sox there. I think we have a higher scoring one in that. I'm going to go on the over in that game. And you guys know I'm taking my Toronto Blue Jays, especially with that plus money. You don't see the Toronto Blue Jays much at plus 150. And I think what we saw the New York Yankees, I was writing that over yesterday, was pretty sure the Yankees were going to win it. And they were able to completely shut down the Blue Jays offensively. And we've got an explosive offense for the Blue Jays. So I think they open up in this one. I could see this total going over the 8. I was actually shocked it dropped to 8.5 because I think you're right on Garrett Cole. And I think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to light him up today. So love the Blue Jays here.
Well, the Cardinals and the Royals have been postponed.
Weather?
I'm going to guess weather.
Well, if they got weather like me, it's still a blizzard out here, so.
I guess it is. But I'm going to go with the Orioles. And like I said, the White Sox just own the Mariners. We saw it yesterday. So no reason to believe that, that they don't hear. I know Keuchel has not been great, but I don't think he needs to be in this one.
Yeah, that's true. I was just looking at Robbie Ray, what his ERA was last season.
Well, he wasn't on the Mariners last season.
No, he was with the Jays.
But it's like, going by last season was an odd season. So it's like,
Sure.
I'm not looking too deep into most of those numbers. There was no fans in the stands at the first half of last season, for the better part of it. And they were coming off of a season that was a 60-game season. So later in the season, a lot of the guys, the younger players, they had never been that deep into a season before. So it was kind of a weird, the last 2 years have been weird numbers. You kind of just got to, for me, it's like, I'm just kind of, this season so far, I'm just kind of going with what I know rather than with the system based on, too deep into the numbers, because I'm not sure how good the numbers are. It's kind of like those betting numbers, like when you look at who the public's on and the money's on and whatever, it's like, we know those reports are wrong. I mean, we know they're wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like some people still think they're right. It's like, that's why they're having their worst years that they've ever had.
Absolutely. So, Mitch, in baseball, who do you think your top favorite pitchers are right now that are playing? And then your least?
Well, my least favorites are always the guys like Cole, Aaron Nola.
Nola.
Because he's the same thing.
Doesn't like Nola. It's going on my note.
No, I don't. He's not like quite on my Cole list or my Heaney or Bundy or that type of list. But he's a guy that's overbet. Barrios generally overbet.
Yeah.
As well. Like you said, both those guys generally way overbet. I think that you have to like the value guys like John Means, like Tristan McKenzie. There's a few other guys that we have, and as they come up, we go over them. But it's like it'll be crystal clear to you. It's like we do it every year, and it's always very crystal clear, as to who our guys are and who our non-guys are. It's like we go over them over the course of the season.
Well, that's why I was excited to hear you talk the Toronto and Yankees game today. I was like, where is Mitch going to go with this one?
Well, you don't have to bet every game.
Not like the least.
You don't have to bet every game.
Absolutely, you don't.
That's for sure. So.
Well, should we do a parlay, Mitch?
Sure.
Okay. You guys, I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants in the first half. And then give me the under between the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm taking the Spurs first half on the money line. I'm taking the New York Mets on the reverse run line, -2.5 at +207. And I will take the over in the Twins-Dodgers game with Chris Paddock serving.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you. And, of course, we will see you tomorrow. Those of you who are premium and VIP members, coming right up.